Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, my friends, and welcome back to the Cozy Club. My gosh, does it feel good to be back, baby. First and foremost, while I was away, I want to thank you guys. We hit 15,000 subscribers here on the channel, and I just want to say thank you guys. It means so much for me that you guys took the time to subscribe and join the Cozy Club. When I started content creating 2 years ago, I never thought in my wildest imagination that this is where it all be now. I'm just over the moon ecstatic that content creation is my full-time job, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here. So, with that being said, it is looking more and more likely that Snow White is going to be our next legendary character in the coming days or weeks, and that's just going to be insane because, well, the princesses are going to get even better, and they're already pretty meta. However, if a Snow White new princess legendary doesn't take the princesses to the moon, I've got more news for you. DSA wants to double, nay, triple down and make refreshes for some of the best princess characters. As if they needed any help, both Rapunzel and Merida got a pretty big refresh. Now, is it time to stop farming and focusing what you're currently working on and jump on the princess ship? And how game-changing are these new refreshes? Let's jump into it. Alrighty, let's talk about these reworks for the princess faction. Now, as of this post from the developers, while they were trying to fix some bugs, they really unintentionally ended up changing a lot of their kits, is what it sounds like, and they let us know this is something they're going to be doing in the future. While they tackle bugs, they're going to also be tuning up some characters. Now, on one side of the coin, I can't believe the two princesses that got touched up are Rapunzel and Merida because they're already so good. But at the other side of the coin, I'm glad these are characters that we've already invested a good amount into. And so you're not having to farm some new Frozone overpowered character because most likely you have these already. Now, obviously, guys, I hope and wish that Jasmine and definitely Ariel, those two specifically, got a major rework. And I was really hoping for that, especially if Snow White comes into the game. But one thing you guys got to know is, especially of legendary status, characters usually boost the characters around them, and the princesses are all about synergy anyway. If you want to know how they work and really master them, we have plenty of videos, guys. Just type in princess on my video list and you'll find a lot of videos breaking them down. Now, in my opinion, Rapunzel got a huge boost, and Merida could barely already get even better, but somehow she's even better at what she already did. Let's go ahead and start with Rapunzel. So Rapunzel got a major buff. Now, she was already a really good character for those that don't know, and she was kind of lackluster on the defense side of things because of the way that her resurrection skill worked, and then she didn't have a lot of use within the raid because she had bugs with her best kit available. However, now they address those bugs and they're working on them as we speak. And she's now going to be not only great in PvP, but she's going to be huge in other game modes. You guys should already be working on her, but there's a lot of incentive to really go after Rapunzel now. And that's because every ability of hers got changed in a way that's going to really impact her ability within the raids, and then also some other game modes like defense in the Sorcerer tournament. Her basic attack is going to get some added percentage for her crit chance. Her princess ally, very great stuff there, as if it does crit, you get yourself a free stun off of basic, and with those call to assist and Belle on the team, very good, simple adjustment to the basic to make her even stronger. Now, her next ability, Hair Snare, is very interesting, and it's not completely fixed yet, but it went from a great skill to even better. Now, first of all, guys, this thing is crazy. It stuns the main person you're going after, but in addition to that, it is going to reduce their turn meter from 100 to 0 no matter what, and then an adjacent target, you did have a chance to stun them. But now, they added a reduction to speed turn meter, which is bonkers, of 30%. So you're shutting down one character and then a side character. However, the part that gets me extremely excited to the addition of this skill is that they're finally recognizing that within the raid, this turn meter reduction doesn't work. Now, as you guys know, even 50% turn meter reduction with Esmeralda, Randall, some other characters like Yzma is a big deal. Now, going from full turn meter to 0 is another story, and that's going to completely make Rapunzel's raid viability insanity. Super excited about that. Putting slow on adjacents is going to be great within the raid as well. So altogether, huge bump up for Hair Snare. and really just big bug fixes that are going to change Rapunzel. Now, next up on the list, we have Restoration Incantation. Now, this was the root of the cause of how these reworks even happened in the first place. Restoration Incantation is a very unique, saucy ability that's one of the best in the game. It's just not used a lot, and now it's changing. So essentially, guys, Rapunzel, when you are able to control her, was very good. If your allies died, if you had some status effects, you would just reverse those in a snap. However, on defense, Rapunzel, the way that she was kind of programmed within the game, she was rezzing her allies turn one. So right off the bat, she wasn't using Hair Snare. She was trying to res nobody. It was burning a turn. And in result, the princesses were a very lackluster defense team for Sorcerer's Tournament and things like that. Now, they changed how this works altogether. They got rid of one magic, which is very solid. The healing you're going to do is a whole lot better. And now, as your characters die around you, Rapunzel is going to go ahead and get magic for this ability. Now, that's a pretty game-changing buff to that ability. I mean, it's going to make her much better. I will say with the Princess faction, both Merida and Rapunzel were already target priority uno, right? Like, you should be going after them pretty much first when targeting a princess team. And so she now has even more emphasis and even more just focus on kill Rapunzel first, so you don't have to deal with Restoration Incantation and or the onslaught of princesses. Now, obviously, she's much better on defense, but they also gave her some Flynn Rider synergy. Now, this is nice to see as far as just like the correlation to the movies. You're not really going to see this a lot outside of Summoner Showdown, where it's going to be pretty solid. But essentially with Flynn Rider there, if he dies, she's going to be getting turns, and it's decent. But again, Flynn Rider is so far from meta, you're not going to see this often, and it doesn't really change the full princess team. Now, lastly, they did add to the healing of princesses, so AoEs and things like that. When Rapunzel gets hit, she'll be healing the others around her. But if she gets smacked with a giant single target damage and it kills her right away, like Hercules with a sword, not a lot's going to change there either. So my overall opinions of the refresh on Rapunzel specifically, already an A+ character. She's going to skyrocket up there, especially if that turn meter can go from 100 to 0. That's going to be a massive change for her because there's really no one else that can do that, and it's going to give her a lot of raid viability, which kind of held her back in the tier list when we were ranking before that. In short, if you want anything to do with the princesses, farm and gear Rapunzel. So on to Merida. Merida is, I can't believe she got herself a buff. I mean, she's arguably one of the best, if not like the best solo character within the game. Just everything she does by herself. She's her own engine. However, she has wild synergy and a little bit lack thereof. And so because of that, it does hold her back in being plug and playable in a lot of different teams. Now, her refresh is going to change that just a bit, and it's going to really make her even more of a powerhouse. And under the Princess faction, she has the biggest wanted poster on her face to kill first because of the sheer amount of damage this woman pumps out. Like, this is almost equivalent to Hercules getting a refresh. Like, she doesn't need it. They fixed, I guess, the way that she works, and most likely, if I had to guess, that's to help with how Snow White is going to function, because I don't see why else they would do this. But anyway, looking at what they changed, thank God they didn't do much with her basic attack outside of tactics going to help the percentage odds, and overall, that's going to go ahead and make her a bit more plug and playable. Someone like Mike Wazowski or other tactic gifters is going to help Merida plug into those teams more. But let's look at what did change. Let's go ahead and start out with the unique mechanic that is Merida and her wisps. Now, if you guys don't know, Merida has a lot of different things going for her, and as she gains these wisps with each of her turns, she'll be getting more offense, and her abilities are going to do different things like more damage or hit additional times. Now, this used to be a huge, like, continuous damage hit. They removed that, and they've added additional hits with Rain of Arrows. Now, it's safe to say if you have Merida on your team, she will be the glass cannon offensive powerhouse. Both of these abilities in their respective right can one-shot pretty much anybody, and I truly mean anybody, with Rain of Arrows and Choose Your Fate. it's going to amp up her raid damage even further, making her an obvious gear 9 and an obvious character to invest in early with your wilds gear. But what they did is they added additional hits to Rain of Arrows. And then with Choose Your Fate, they added even more bonus damage, which it's so much already. And now at the moment, we live in a very fast-paced PvP meta. But with Merida in general, they changed the way the wisps work in her empowerment. Every time she gets 4 wisps, she's going to keep on getting turn meter. She's going to keep on getting that guaranteed crit, which is going to majorly boost her within the raid itself. And guys, this just makes her more of a plug-and-play option, and truly, she is very much worth investing in. Now, lastly, instead of just making all of Merida's abilities just hit like a truck, because they already do, they changed the way the wisps work a little bit and how she gets empowered. Now, first of all, you're going to have a little wisp icon above her. Makes it very easy to follow, and it's a nice added visual touch. But on top of that, guys, she's going to go ahead and get these advantages all the time while she gains these wisps. She's going to get magic cooldown. She's going to get guaranteed crits and turn meter, which, you know, can be a good and bad thing depending on Beast and Hercules. But altogether, Merida went from pretty dang good to absolutely crazy dang good. She's already there in that S tier kind of world. And so Merida is the princess damage-wise to focus on. So again, whether you look at it as, you know, they're buffing already great characters, they fixed some really important bugs, and then a lot of us already have these characters. And so if you've been all in on the princesses, they're going to get even crazier. Now, guys, I missed a lot of time and I've got a lot of videos I want to make, but I want to hear from you guys and make sure I tailor some of these towards the community. So comment down below which videos you want to see most from me outside of obviously a tier list and farming guide. We got those on the slate. But would love to hear from you guys and take that into consideration. And then on top of that, guys, to remind you, Glue did say they plan on doing these a little bit more with a bug fix and a light refresh. And there's nothing I love better than character refreshes. You guys have an amazing day. It is great to be back. And until next time, stay cozy.